People pass behind them. No one stops. One man glances away too fast. "Why him?" someone mutters, then keeps walking. The man breathes in slowly. Calm stays on his face, even as something inside tightens. "I can wait," he says. The guard shifts, uncomfortable for a second, then harder again. "Good. Stay here." Silence grows between them. No one says it, but everyone understands the rule that was never written. He stands still, not defeated, just waiting, and the hallway keeps moving around him, like he is already out of it. "You can wait here." "I already am." The guard doesn't respond right away, just watches him. Narration. This is not the first room like this, not the first time his name becomes a question instead of a fact. Another guard mutters, "Just check again." He hears it, but doesn't react. "You've been stopped before?" one of them asks. A small pause. "Yes." Silence shifts slightly. "And every time?" The guard continues. He looks at them, steady. "Every time I stayed calm." The first guard frowns. "That doesn't answer." "It does," he interrupts softly. Narration. He remembers other doors, other faces that look the same before speaking, the same pause before respect is decided. A passerby slows down, then walks away faster. The guard lowers his voice. "If everything is fine, why does this keep happening?" He exhales once, controlled. "Because I look like this," he says simply. No anger, no explanation after that. Just truth sitting in the air. The guards don't respond immediately. That silence feels heavier than words. One of them shifts his stance, less certain now. The man remains still, not smaller, not louder, just present. And for a moment, it is not him being tested. It is the room that is. "You don't need to keep me here." A guard blinks. "What?" He doesn't raise his voice. "You heard me." Silence drops fast. Narration. The air changes, not because he is loud, but because he is no longer trying to explain himself. Another guard shifts. "We're just following procedure." He nods slightly. "Then follow it correctly." A pause. People nearby stop pretending not to listen. "You think this is about procedure?" one guard asks, uneasy now. He answers simply, "It always is, until it isn't." The words hang longer than expected. The first guard looks away for a second, then back. Less sure. "Just verify his file," someone mutters from behind. No one moves quickly anymore. Narration. Something small has cracked, not in rules, in certainty. The man finally steps half forward, not forcing space, just taking it back. "I am already cleared," he says quietly. "You just didn't check properly." A breath is held somewhere in the room. The guard opens his mouth, then closes it again. No one interrupts now, and in that silence, the mistake becomes clear to everyone who is still listening. This was never reviewed. A file lands on the table. "It was processed," a junior officer says quietly. The senior man doesn't look up. "Processed" means nothing. Silence. Narration. Years of silence built this room. Not one moment, but many small choices no one stopped. "You signed off on this promotion?" another voice says. "Yes," the senior replies, calm. "Without checking complaints?" A pause. "There were no verified complaints," he answers. The junior officer shifts. "They were ignored, not unverified." No response for a moment. The senior finally looks up. "If they had value, they would have survived the system." That line lands heavier than intended. A chair moves slightly. No one sits comfortably anymore. Narration. This is how power learned to protect itself, by calling silence proof. "People spoke up," the junior says, voice tighter now. "And people were heard," the senior interrupts. "Just not always agreed with." A long pause fills the space. The junior officer looks down. "We lost good people because of this." A flicker crosses the senior man's face, gone quickly. "Every system loses people," he says. But his voice is not as steady now. A silence follows, different from before, less controlled, more exposed. No one adds anything. And for the first time, the room feels like it remembers what it chose not to see. You still have that complaint file? It was closed. Closed or buried? A long pause. Narration. The room doesn't feel new. It feels repeated. Like this question has already been asked too many times and answered too little. It didn't meet the requirement, an officer says quietly. Which requirement? Another voice asks. Silence again. A folder is placed on the table. No one opens it right away. You're telling me 3 reports and nothing was done? They were reviewed, someone replies, a sharp breath. Reviewed is not the same as heard. No response. Narration. The pattern is clear now, not in what was written, but in what was ignored. A younger staff member speaks carefully. One of them left after filing, never came back. That line changes the air. Why wasn't it followed up? The senior asks. No answer comes fast enough. A quieter voice breaks in. Because following up meant reopening everything. Silence falls heavier this time. The senior leans back slightly. So we avoided it. Nobody corrects him. Narration. Avoidance slowly became structure, and structure started to feel like safety. The folder remains untouched. Then someone finally says, almost under their breath, "We knew." No one denies it. And in that moment, the closed files feel less like documents and more like decisions. Have you seen it? Yes. Everyone has. A pause. Narration. The video is short, no voice explaining it. Just truth sitting still on a screen, refusing to move. They didn't even deny it, someone says quietly. Because they can't, another replies. A journalist lowers his phone. This is going everywhere. No one argues. In another room, a senior officer watches without blinking. Is it verified? A younger staff member answers carefully. It doesn't need verification. It's clear. Silence. Narration. What reports failed to prove, a single recording makes impossible to ignore. An internal affairs officer leans back. We've had complaints before. A voice from the side cuts in, low. We ignored them. That line stays longer than expected. The senior officer finally speaks again. We need to control the response. No one replies fast. A journalist, almost whispering now, says, "You can't control this anymore." Cut to a quiet room. A former victim stares at the screen. "They'll ask me again," he says. A pause. Then, "I'll speak this time." Not loud, not dramatic, just final. Narration. The silence after the video is heavier than anger. It feels like something already decided. Back in the office, no one talks over each other anymore. And for the first time, the system is not reacting. It is listening, because it has no other choice. Why is his name still in the report? No one answers right away. A chair shifts. It should have been cleared. It wasn't, another voice says. Narration. The room feels different now. Not louder, just less certain. A senior officer clears his throat. We followed procedure. A pause. Procedure, someone repeats quietly. Or habit. Silence lands hard. Another voice breaks in, careful but firm. We all saw what happened. No one disagrees. The antagonist sits slightly apart now, not speaking. A colleague avoids his eyes. We thought it was handled. Or hidden, someone replies. No argument follows. Narration. The man who was once questioned is no longer the focus. The system itself is. A file is placed on the table again. This time, no one pushes it aside. A voice finally asks, "Who approved this?" No quick answer. The room waits, but no one rushes to protect the answer anymore. The antagonist finally speaks, low. "I did." It sounds smaller than before. No reaction follows immediately. Then silence. And in that silence, it becomes clear, not just what was done, but how many allowed it to stand without looking closer. "This room wasn't meant for this," someone says quietly. No one responds. The lights stay too bright. Faces look drained, not from heat, but from attention. A paper slips slightly in someone's hand. "Start the record," a voice says. It takes a second too long. Narration. Power used to feel natural here. Now it feels exposed, like it doesn't belong in its own space. The antagonist clears his throat. We followed procedure. A pause. Procedure? Another voice replies. Or protection? No answer comes. A camera shifts slightly. Everyone notices it, but no one comments. You approved this personally? Someone asks. A slower breath. Yes. Silence holds. He avoids looking at anyone now. That alone says more than his words. Narration. For the first time, authority does not fill the room. It shrinks inside it. A junior officer speaks, hesitant. We didn't think it would reach this point. It always reaches this point, someone replies. No argument follows. The antagonist's voice drops. What do you want from me now? No one answers immediately. Then quietly, truth. That word stays in the air longer than expected. He looks down, no speeches, no defense left. Only silence now, and the realization that the room is no longer listening to protect him. It is listening to remember. State his full name. A chair shifts. The official looks down at the file. Mr. Daniel Harris. A pause. Senior Compliance Officer, 12 years of service. The room changes, almost without sound. Narration. It is strange how a name can feel heavier when finally spoken with authority. Someone whispers, "That's him." No one answers. "Read the rest," a voice says. The official continues, slower now. Previous internal commendations, multiple department approvals. The antagonist's jaw tightens. Another voice cuts in, careful. And complaints? Silence. The official doesn't look up. There were records. That were ignored, someone adds. No denial comes. Narration. The man they once reduced to a file number is now fully visible in the system they built. A pen stops moving mid-note. He was never marked as risk, a junior officer says quietly. A senior replies, "We didn't look closely enough." That line stays. The antagonist finally speaks, low. "Why are we saying this now?" No one responds quickly. Then someone says, "Because we finally said his name right." A breath is held in the room. He sits still, but something in him shifts, not loudly, not fully breaking, just realizing he is no longer the center of quiet approval. And for the first time, the room is no longer arranged around him. "I don't need anger to explain this." A pause. His voice is calm, even. "I just need you to understand what happened." Someone in the room shifts in their seat. Narration. No one expected this tone. Not here. Not after everything. A voice breaks in quietly. "You were treated unfairly." "Yes," he replies simply. Silence follows. "And you're not asking for punishment?" another asks. He shakes his head slightly. "I'm asking for awareness." That word sits heavy. The antagonist looks up for a moment, then away again. "You're making this harder than it is," someone mutters. "No," the protagonist says softly. "I'm making it clear." A long pause. Narration. Calmness becomes something the room is not prepared for. It cannot argue with it. It cannot silence it. The antagonist finally speaks, voice tight. "So what do you want from us?" The protagonist takes a breath. See people before decisions. No applause, no reaction, just stillness. A junior officer whispers, "That's it?" He nods. That's everything. The room feels different now, less defensive, more aware. Even the antagonist doesn't interrupt again. He just listens, not fully standing, not fully collapsing. Narration. The strongest thing in the room is not authority anymore. It is restraint. And in that restraint, something begins to shift. Not loudly, not visibly, but permanently. "Do you want to say anything?" No one answers quickly. Camera shutters click again. A pause stretches. Narration. The room waits for something that will never feel enough. The antagonist finally speaks, voice low. What difference would it make now? No one interrupts. A colleague looks away. Another shifts a step back. "I didn't think it would reach this far," he adds. A quiet voice replies, "It always does, just late." Silence returns. He swallows, trying again. "If I had known—" "You did know," someone cuts in softly. That stops him. Narration. Apology stands at the edge of the room, but it has nowhere to land. A junior officer speaks, almost unsure. We followed him for years. We trusted him. No, another says. We trusted convenience. That line changes the air. The antagonist looks around. No one is standing with him now, not openly, not even silently. He breathes in, but it doesn't settle. I'm sorry, he finally says. No reaction follows, not acceptance, not rejection, just stillness, narration. And in that stillness, the truth becomes heavier than the apology itself. A chair moves slightly as someone leaves the table without looking back. Another follows, no announcement, no conclusion. Just distance forming where certainty used to be. And he remains there, not spoken to anymore, only remembered. Anything for you today, sir? No. The cashier nods, then looks away. He holds his card a second longer than needed. Narration. The same hand that once signed decisions without hesitation now waits for a machine to approve him. A man behind him clears his throat. Line's moving. Yeah, he replies quietly. No authority in it. Just space being taken back. At home, the phone screen lights up. No calls, no messages. He sits down slowly. A photo folder opens by habit. No one in the images speaks anymore. No one calls his name. He scrolls, then stops. What happened? He mutters. No answer comes. Narration. Attention used to follow him like certainty. Now it avoids him like memory. Outside, a neighbor passes his door without stopping. A slight pause. No greeting. He watches it happen. Did they see me? He asks, almost to himself. Silence answers better than words. The room feels smaller now, not because it changed, but because he is no longer filled inside it. He puts the phone down, and for the first time, nothing expects him to move. Did you see his office? It's empty now. A pause. Narration. Nothing breaks loudly here. It disappears in parts, like it was never fully permanent. They removed his nameplate last night, someone says. No one reacts strongly. Another voice, quieter. No announcement? No. Silence. At the desk, papers sit untouched. A chair slightly pushed back, never returned. He was still on the schedule yesterday, a junior staff member says. Not anymore, comes the reply. A long pause follows. Narration. Power does not always fall with noise. Sometimes it just stops being supported. A man clears his throat. So, what now? No quick answer. We proceed differently, someone finally says. Differently how? A glance is exchanged, no details given. The former colleague looks at the empty space again. He won't like this. No one corrects him, because it no longer matters. Narration. The system is not punishing him. It is distancing itself from what it no longer wants to defend. A folder is closed quietly. No final word is spoken, and the silence left behind feels more official than anything he ever signed. You can go in. A guard speaks, but there is no hesitation this time. He nods once. I was already going to. A pause. Narration. The same hallway that once stopped him now lets him pass without question. Nothing changed in structure, only in attention. A staff member looks up briefly. Sir, have a good day. He replies softly, You too. No surprise in his voice, just calm. Another man nearby recognizes him. A slight nod. No words. You okay now? Someone asks under breath. He doesn't slow down. I always was. Silence follows that line. Narration. What once needed proof no longer needs explanation. His presence is no longer a question mark. Footsteps echo behind him. No one calls him back. A security officer watches, then looks away first. The man beside the door whispers, That's him, right? A reply comes, low. Yes, that's him. Nothing more. He walks through the space like it never owned him. Not faster, not slower, just steady. And behind him, the place that once judged him now quietly adjusts to his absence of fear. Before this ends, can I say something? A pause. Go ahead, someone replies. He stands still, no rush in his voice. I don't want what happened to me to become normal for someone else. Silence, narration. The room listens differently now, not to defend but to understand. A voice breaks in softly. We failed to see it early. Yes, he says, but you can still see it now. Another pause. And what should we do? Someone asks. He looks around, calm. Stop waiting for proof before respect. That line stays in the air longer than anything else. A chair shifts. No one interrupts. Narration. Accountability is not loud. It does not demand attention. It simply changes how people see. The antagonist does not speak. He only listens now, quietly reduced to what he avoided becoming. A junior officer nods once, slowly. He responds gently. Respect shouldn't come after recognition. A soft silence follows, and in that silence, the room understands something it missed for too long. Recognition was never the problem. The delay was. Before this ends, can I say something? A pause. Go ahead, someone replies. He stands still. No rush in his voice. I don't want what happened to me to become normal for someone else. Silence. Narration. The room listens differently now, not to defend, but to understand. A voice breaks in softly. We failed to see it early. Yes, he says, but you can still see it now. Another pause. And what should we do? Someone asks. He looks around, calm. Stop waiting for proof before respect. That line stays in the air longer than anything else. A chair shifts. No one interrupts. Narration. Accountability is not loud. It does not demand attention. It simply changes how people see. The antagonist does not speak. He only listens now, quietly reduced to what he avoided becoming. A junior officer nods once, slowly. He responds gently, respect shouldn't come after recognition. A soft silence follows, and in that silence, the room understands something it missed for too long. Recognition was never the problem. The delay was.